All right, take official.
Here we go.
Do you think we're in the center still? Are we good?
Action. Is this good?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
You love it.
Okay.
Das hot dough.
What's up, y'all? It's Bethany and Dave here today.
Hey, guys.
And I'm so excited to be here with my husband because we don't get to do these videos that often. I think the last time we made a video was to announce the baby.
The birth.
And we're doing less than 4 weeks. So things have been progressing, which is wonderful. But we're going to share today just a little bit about kind of what's been going on in our lives. And we've had a lot of questions from you over the past 9 months, really, just asking about not only like, oh, how's pregnancy going? How are things going with, the new changes coming, parenthood, like balancing business and being parents, and
right.
But then also like back to dating and engagement and marriage. And so we pulled some questions from Instagram today, and we're actually going to take some time to answer those so we can give you exactly what you want rather than sharing what we think you want. We're just going to answer those questions with exactly what you want. If you like this video, though, give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more from, Girl Defined, subscribe below. And if you want to support this channel, head on over to patreon.com/girldefined, where you can give $1, $2 per video to help this channel continue on.
For those of you who are new around here, here's a little history. We got married about 15 months ago, and one thing led to another, and we're having a baby. She's having a baby, and I'm helping. I'm reading a book called The Birth Partner, and this is how I'm preparing to get ready for the birth. That's one of the things I'm doing, among other things. What are you doing to prepare, babe?
A lot of things. I couldn't do it without you, baby.
Yeah.
Literally.
We're going to ask each other some questions that you sent in. Here goes.
Okay, let's start out with something really, really, really important.
Yeah.
Was Dave nervous about his first time?
Oh, snap. And I assume first time, it is capitalized. You're talking about relations. The first time we had dem relations.
People actually ask about this a lot. Were you nervous? Was it awkward? Actually, I did write a blog on this. I'll link to it below.
What did you say in the blog, just so that I don't contradict us?
I didn't. I said it wasn't awkward.
It wasn't awkward.
And I said the anticipation is like
it definitely
beautiful.
wasn't awkward, and I wasn't nervous. I don't think I was nervous.
I feel like most guys aren't nervous. Yeah. I feel like it's more of a girl thing.
Oh, were you nervous?
No, I mean, I feel like it's more common. Girls are asking that question. I wonder if it's like, if guys, like if there were like a guy blog, or guys like, were you nervous for the first time? They'd probably be more like, yeah.
Yeah, I was not nervous. I was not nervous. All right, here's a question. What's the silliest story that you can remember from our first 15 months?
Well, probably the first time. No, not that first time. The first time when you
silliest really
when you pass gas.
Oh wow! So
when he accidentally in front of me.
I said, this is a true story, and now we're telling you. We were working out or something. No, I think we weren't working out.
No.
I just wanted to show off, and I said, "Hey, babe, watch me do a sit-up." And I did the sit-up, and I also did something else, and that's what she's talking about.
It made me laugh really hard.
It wasn't that big. It wasn't like the loudest.
It was just really funny because he was like, "Watch me," like trying to be all macho, and then like, but that it's natural. It will happen anywhere, but it was funny because it was the first time. So you're up.
There are a lot of places I wouldn't like that to happen. Any challenges we faced in marriage?
Oh. I mean, I feel like adjusting to, like being married, there's that, like expectations or just that's an adjustment. And then we got pregnant like 7 months into marriage or 6 months in, whatever it was.
Like 7 or 8.
And I was feeling pretty crummy for like the first few months of pregnancy. I get really bad migraines. And so I was like, I felt like I was in bed more than I was out of bed, just like really dead meat. And I think that there were different challenges that came along with that. I mean, you were amazing and wonderful and took such good care of me, but it's hard when one person feels like they're in bed all the time. And then now preparing, like, okay, we've moved several times since being married. There's that. And now preparing for like a new little kid. There are just different things, you know, like adjustments.
Moving has been the worst.
How do you deal with dividing up chores?
Between us.
Between us.
We kind of naturally divide up chores. We don't really even talk about it that much, except for the last night when we went to dinner and we were discussing some expectations for the birth and then after the birth.
Oh, yes.
What life will look like. So we were kind of just talking about it. And you did mention something like I'll be doing more laundry
and dishes.
You'd like me, yeah. And I was A-okay with that. That's awesome. But other than that, we really don't talk a lot about it. It's more of like there's dishes to be done. So just as a standard, we wait for a while. And then one of us kind of gets to it at some point. Making the bed, sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
He's better at that.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a desire to be more orderly. Maybe we will need to talk about that at some point. But I don't know. I kind of assume that I probably should do more. I just kind of automatically assume that. What does a healthy sex life look like?
Is that one of the questions?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see it.
Well, I did.
I strongly recommend, what's it called? Authentic Intimacy with Julie Slattery. And if you're a woman, Passion Pursuit by her as well. And then also we wrote a book, Sex, Purity, and the Longings of a Girl's Heart. And so I think a healthy sex life, whether you are single or married, single, I think preparing and understanding it from a biblical perspective and really having proper expectations and not like what you see in the movies isn't, you know, it's, I don't think that's even the best sex out there. I think it's like, you know, and so I think the best healthy version of sex comes in a relationship, a committed marriage where two people are genuinely striving to love and serve the other. And so I think the more we can develop that mindset and understand what sex truly is all about, then I think that will lead to a very healthy sex life. But it's like the amount of sex you're going to have, or the the frequency, all of that. It's like that's important to communicate between two people because it might be a little bit different for everyone. All right, age gap. There are many questions about this. We're 5.5 years apart. I'm 5.5 years older.
Yes.
Is it a problem in our relationship?
Yeah.
Does it make a difference?
I mean, it's fun to tell people. That's mostly it. I get kind of like, I feel like guys can sometimes get props for marrying a girl that's older. I don't know if you've experienced the opposite, where people are like, oh, robbing the cradle, are we? I don't know. If 5.5 years isn't actually, in my opinion, it's not that much when you're looking at just like maturity levels and stuff like that. And I consider myself to be extremely mature. So, and how do you plan to savor time with the baby over business?
Well, I'm definitely going to take some time off right after.
Okay.
And so there's that. So I'll be able to focus exclusively on the baby. And then life is just going to change. Like you can't pretend like, oh, like life won't change once you have a baby. And I would really love to be very involved and to take care of him. And we have the blessing and privilege of being able to do that because you have a great job. And so I have that, I can do that. And so I'm really grateful for that and don't take that for granted. And I do love Girl Defined though, and what I get to do over here. So Kristen and I have just had a lot of conversations about it. When you're kind of like a small business in a sense, you have to figure out, like, she can't do it all, you know? And so we are figuring out how to balance that and how I'll be able to work more from home, getting ahead on things like videos and content and just planning ahead more. It's just, we're just going to have to be a lot more on top of it. And so for me, it's going to be being really productive in the times where the baby's sleeping or maybe he's with my family or whatever. So I think I'm just going to have to be a lot more intentional with my time than I have had to because I've just had more flexibility. Question, how will you both keep your love? Basically, how will we keep our love strong and special and going while raising children?
That's a great question.
How do we plan on keeping the fire alive?
Yeah. I guess we'll communicate. And I guess as time goes on, we'll continue to communicate.
That's a huge part of it.
I really think communicating is a big part of it. I mean, we got together the other night to talk about expectations. you know? It seems kind of formal, but it's like we just went to dinner and just had that specific topic of conversation. Like after the birth, what is it going to look like? So I think as long as we keep that going, you know, we're both very connection oriented. We both really like feeling connected. We don't really go very long periods of time without being connected or without feeling connected, just in general.
Like emotionally and
emotionally connected. So I think if it starts to become like an issue, we'll know, and then we'll communicate. What are you most excited for as a new parent?
I mean, we haven't seen him really, you know, it's like ultrasound and stuff, but we haven't seen him. So I think actually getting to see David Jr. and hold him and see his face, and it's like he's been in here for going on 9 months. It's crazy. And so that's really, really exciting. But I think getting to be like a parent with you, and getting to watch you be a dad, and getting to like, it's something we created, and you know, like that we're equally a part of, and that's really interesting. It's like,
for sure,
it's something neither of us have ever experienced before, and so it's going to be super cool. All right, question: how will the arrival of your new baby impact the two of you as a couple?
Well, I think it's kind of in the question. It'll change because it won't just be the two of us, and that's what I'm expecting. It'll be her, me, little Junior, Davy Jr., and Fluffy. So far we've been dealing with mostly just us two and Fluffy.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be us two, Davy Jr., and Fluffy. Mm-hmm. So I just repeated the same thing a few times. But now it's my turn. Are we planning to homeschool?
We're both homeschooled. It's different. I feel like, I guess back in the day, there weren't as many options. You either did like public school, private school, or homeschool. I don't know. There weren't as many like online options or co-ops. I mean, there were, but there's so many now. There's so many more options, like incredible co-ops, incredible private schools, incredible online stuff. So I feel like we have a lot we can choose from as far as how we want to educate our children. I think for me, the most important thing is like watching them as they grow and really doing what would be best for them as a child, their specific personality, energy level, all of that, gifts and talents, and really help them to progress in a way that's going to really help them most. And I don't think it's a one size fits all mold for each child. And so for me, you know, maybe that looks like one does really well just being solely and exclusively homeschooled, and one does really well with a lot more structure and that kind of competitive nature of being in a private school or more of a co-op. So I think that's probably a conversation we'll have as each, like Davy Jr., and if we have more children as they get older. But I think the goal is for us to just be super intentional about what's being taught to them, and making sure that their time is being used in the best way possible. Okay, this question cracks me up.
Yeah.
I think it's talking about you. Is he, Dave, a spoiling type of guy, or is he hard when it comes to raising your kids? So are you going to be like are you like the spoiling type that are just going to spoil the kids? Or are you going to be the line? Hey, crap, that's so funny. I love it.
I don't know, man.
Are you going to be more strict, or am I going to be more strict?
I think I will be more strict.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I kind of do. I
have no idea.
I mean, strict in a certain way. Like, I think I will be, I could be wrong, but I think I'll be more consistent with whatever we decide. I think I'll be more, I don't know. I think I'll be more like, again, I could be wrong, but I get the feeling that it'll be more important for me to take time to train in, like, if he's trying to do something, kind of like letting him do it a lot of times and not doing it for him. I feel like
you're more patient. Maybe?
I might. Well, I think I don't know. I'm definitely curious to see if he can do it. You know, so if like there's a challenge or something, I'm curious to see him, you know, succeed. And even if it takes a little while, you know, don't have to. That's what I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, well, I mean, you'll be the favorite parent for sure. All our kids will love you most.
I do plan to be the favorite parent.
He will be.
If there's anything to that. Let's go back to when we were dating, just for a little bit. This little Easter egg. While dating, did you have any doctrinal or lifestyle differences, and how did you resolve them? Great.
Doctrinally, we grew up pretty similar. I don't feel like we had a lot of major differences. I feel like you were kind of like thinking through things and questioning things and kind of working things out before you asked me out.
I still am doing all of those things. So
You're much more, like we're different in that way, the way we process and think about things.
We're
and it's
so
amazing
different in that way.
Because I feel like he has helped me learn and grow so much and helps me to just like question things in a good way. Sure. And listen. I feel like who I listen to and who I learn from has changed a lot and in a good way. And you just exposed me to a lot of great mindsets or great ways of thinking and things where I'm like, well, this is the way it should be. And you're like, well, why? And it's like, well, actually, maybe that's not the way it should be. You know?
I mean, as time's gone on, I feel like there's something to building, for us, there's been something to building like relational capital.
Yeah.
And I think the more relational, emotional capital we have together, the more connection that we have, the more trust we build, then the more those sorts of conversations are not scary to have. Yeah. And I think to some degree, while dating, there are just certain conversations that would have been a lot more like, oh, that's scary. You know, I don't want to talk about that, you know, and almost like we would probably have tended to caricature each other a little bit more than our views. But now we have trust first and foremost. And so sharing different views is fine. Yeah.
And I think dating, I mean, we talked through everything. We had, you know, just great mentors around us, great books we were reading, and we just talked and communicated a lot. And so there were areas where we had differences on, just like certain convictions or more like, I don't know, stuff to do with media, things like that. And so we've kind of landed in a place like if it's going to compromise the other person's like conscience or the person feels more strongly about it in a more conservative sense, like we will just kind of honor that. But it's more, I think those sorts of things are always on the table and we're always communicating about them. But I love it because I feel like we're both willing to grow and change and we really want to love the other person. So it's, I think that's important. And, not being each other's Holy Spirit, you know, like I think that's important too. So
for sure,
I feel like I've probably grown the most in that area, you know.
I agree. She's actually grown a lot in that way, not to sound weird about it, but yes.
All right, let's end on a really easy one. Mm-hmm. How would you feel if your child didn't believe in God?
Wow. Well, how would I feel? I think I'd feel a lot of empathy. I'd feel a lot of sympathy for him, you know, doubts and, you know, questions and struggles and, you know, lack of belief. It's all, I see it as all a part of life and all a part of growing. So, you know, I think it's just more like exciting to see like how, our relationship as parents with our child develops. I'm actually more excited about that. I'm less concerned with my child not holding my views. That doesn't actually bother me that much. I want to raise a kid who is a decent human being. Of course I want him to love God, and of course I want him to, in that sense, believe in God. But at the same time, I want to have a great relationship with him, and so I think I'll feel a lot of sympathy. I've had plenty of doubts and still do about all kinds of stuff. So it's not, to me, it's not super scary for a child to have a lack of belief in God or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there are more questions, but this video will get too long. So we're going to wrap it up there. If you have any more questions or there's a specific thing in the future when we come back after the baby's born that you want us to talk about, you can leave a comment below letting us know. And that's pretty much a wrap. Thank y'all so much for submitting your questions. If you want to be a part of like when questions happen, head on over to Instagram and go follow @GirlDefined. That's where we kind of do all of that sort of stuff, and even a lot more like in the life and lives and things like that. Again, if you like this video, we would love to see you over on the Patreon community, patreon.com/girldefined, where you can help support us on a more regular basis. And until next time.
Bye, everybody. Take him to church and spank him with church. Churching. Can we do that, please?
Why don't... Oh, 3, 2, 1. Okay.
Did it just click?
I don't think so.
What do you think?
You're so sweet.
I did the best I could for that one.
That was really good. That's a wrap.